Good morning, good morning. Good to see you right here on Your World. It's Wellness Wednesday, and again, by now you know, every single Wednesday we talk about anything and everything health and wellness, and today we want to tackle a conversation that rarely do we talk about, but it's like we have normalized it, okay? And we're talking about energy boosters right here on Your World. And I've seen a lot of people, even one of my friends actually, I know every single morning, the way as we wake up and then you look for coffee, someone actually wakes up and looks for an energy drink in the morning, okay? And that is how bad we've normalized taking energy booster drinks. So the big question is, how detrimental can it be? Because I was actually doing a bit of reading and I found out actually more than half of the population across the globe, okay, have either taken energy drinks or are dependent on energy drinks. And to be exact, okay, this is what the number says, that global energy drink use is high, especially among youth, with worldwide lifetime prevalence around 54.7%. 54.7%, that is like more than half of the people, are actually depending on energy drinks. So the bigger question is why? Why are we dependent on this, and how detrimental, how bad can it be? Or is it even bad in the first place? Do we know the contents, in the energy drinks? So it's gonna be an amazing conversation right here on Your World this morning on Wellness Wednesday. My name is Winnie Lubembe. So glad to have you guys join us this morning. And before you meet our guests for today, we have a question for you this morning. And I'm sure we all have an answer, okay, to this question. And the question goes, how often do you rely on energy drinks, okay? It's a very simple question, straight to the point. How often do you rely on energy drinks? Let us know at NTV Kenya across all board. Is how you can reach us and tag me as well at Lubembe_Winnie on X, and let us know, how often do you rely on energy drinks, okay? And let me introduce my guests for today this morning. Joining us on my immediate left, as per usual, okay, we have Stella Murugi Ruthuku, who is a psychologist, joining us this morning, looking lovely. Good morning, it's so good to see you. How are you?
Good morning, Winnie. How are you?
Good. Karibu sana. Karibu sana. Happy to have you on the show. Tuambie, what happens to the brain when we rely on energy drinks? And first of all, why do we feel the need to take energy drinks? And if we use it for too long, how bad can it get? And then next to Stella, we have Dr. Joseph Wahome Mukundi, who is a consultant toxicologist, joining us this morning. I don't think we've ever had a toxicologist right here on the show. So karibu sana. Wewe ni pioneer. To really help us really understand, do we even know the contents? What do they do to our body if we take it like too much? And first of all, how too much is too much, okay? So karibu sana. Thank you for making the time joining us this morning. And we have Betty Okere. She's not a new face, okay? We have seen her in the digital platforms. She's been here as well. So Betty, it's so good to see you.
Good to
Betty
see you
is a nutritionist joining us this morning. And I say to people that have not seen in the new year, Happy New Year. And someone is like, Winnie, where mwaka iko karibu kuisha, what you say? But Happy New Year to you guys. It's so good to see you. Karibu sana. And Betty, can we just start with you, right? Energy drinks. Like I said, we have sort of normalized it. Like it's not a big deal. We take it almost every single day. I've seen some people take even 3 to 4 or 5 cans, bottles of energy drinks. So what qualifies as an energy drink? Tuanzie tu hapo, because some people might be like, "Ay, but young we see energy drink." Okay. What qualifies a drink as an energy drink?
Okay, so usually people will be taking something that they want, so a drink of some sort that they want or hope that it will be able to improve their alertness and probably contribute to enhancing their performance, especially during the day. So any beverage that does that to the body, but usually an energy drink is it has stimulants in it, okay. So it will have caffeine. Some of them might also have taurine, which is actually an amino acid that also contributes to making the central nervous system be alert.
Okay.
And it also contains sugar. So when you're looking at the 3 things, these are the major components in an energy drink, okay. You will find that in the natural environment, those things, when they're not in excess amount, will still give some sort of alertness and enhance performance, but in their natural state. Now, what happens in an energy drink or an energy booster, the amounts of these natural chemicals are so much that then it interferes with how the body should be working.
Okay.
The sad part is you get that alertness, but you soon crash. So
it's like a quick high and then...
a quick high and a quick low.
Okay.
So it makes you want to depend on it, and I'm sure Stella will expound more on that. It makes you want to depend on it. So you'll find many people using it either because they had a hangover the day before and they're feeling not so good, but you caused the problem yourself. So you should be able to deal with it. And then some people also will say, I feel a little lethargic. I don't have sufficient energy, and so I need a boost for myself. Okay, but what if the time you need that energy, you've taken in so much, and then it keeps you alert and interferes with the other things like sleep? And lastly, there are people who take it and say, well, I hadn't eaten, and so I need something that will give me energy in my body. Forgetting the fact that this energy drink might be having a lot of sugar, for that matter. All right? And then, of course, the high caffeine, and you're taking it on an empty stomach. So at the end of the day, you've caused more problems than what you had in the first place.
I see that.
Yes.
And Stella, can we just piggyback from what Betty has said, and also talk about the stimulants and even before that, the body functioning optimally, what does that look like? And especially when we're looking at our brain, because the brain is sort of like the engine of, right, you know, everything else. And then bring in an energy, you know, drink to boost that. How does that then alter how the body functions in the first place?
The body at baseline means, first of all, the body does... it keeps you have enough energy reserves. Now when you take in energy boosters or energy drinks, just like Betty said, you are likely to like get a crash. And one of the things that a booster does, it enhances the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. So therefore you are in a state of flight or fight response, which can be quite detrimental in the long run. And you can see this when someone is restless, they are irritable, they have some psychomotor agitation like fidgeting. This is just a telltale sign of energy drinks and how they affect our brains.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how, probably in terms of time, does it then become a problem? Because like we said, there's some people who will take energy drinks and they say they're okay. And there's some people who, if they do not, like you said, they become irritable, you do not want to stay anywhere, you know, near them. So is it the amount of time in terms of usage, or is it the amount of the boosters that you're taking that will end up altering how the body functions?
Well, strictly speaking, it's a bit of both.
Okay.
So you find that someone is taking way more energy drinks to get the same high they had when they first took the energy drink. You see that they are taking way too many energy drinks in one day, which tells us it's overuse. You can see that even sometimes they can't function, just like you said earlier, that they can't function without that energy boost. They are psychologically dependent and physically dependent on some of the benefits that they get from the energy drink. Yes.
I see that. So then we'll come back and understand from your perspective, does it get to a point where it becomes an addiction? And if that, so like, yes. We'll come back and explore more of that. Because most of the time when we look at addiction, we look at alcohol, drugs, and substances. We usually say, I wonder what the substances are. Probably energy drinks qualifies in the substances. But we'll explore more on that. How do I know that I've gotten to that point of addiction? And is there a way for me to come out of it? But again, Doc, we have a lot of brands, different brands, you know, as far as energy drinks are concerned. What is that one thing, or maybe two, or maybe three, that's sort of like a common denominator when we're looking at these different brands of energy drinks or energy boosters that we have in the market?
The baseline is caffeine.
Okay.
For alertness. A number usually add guarana, and guarana is basically a natural extract having again caffeine. And then you find a couple of them will add ginseng and ginkgo biloba, basically for cognitive enhancement of the brain. I think that's usually the standard, and then sugars. So that, as Betty has said, to enhance more of energy in the body. I think that's usually the bottom line. Yes.
Can we explore caffeine and when does it become a problem, or when does caffeine become toxic to the body?
If you allow me, Winnie, just to mention, one of the things that we have seen with energy drinks is some even fatalities in our hospitals.
Oh, wow.
To some extent. Studies have been shown from the West, and even in Kenya, once in a while you see them. I actually know of an incident of a certain senior colleague who actually passed on. And we always think around cardiac arrest because of taking too much of it. At that time, the gentleman was taking around 5 cans a day just to keep up with the work. We have seen people, when they want to study way into the night, they either do a lot of coffee, and if not a lot of coffee, they go to the energy drinks because they have a very high concentration.
Yeah.
So it is slowly in Africa also becoming a big concern. And when we go to our supermarkets and various other outlets, we are finding the blends are increasing by day.
Oh, yes.
Now, on average, we know anything we take, including water, can cause intoxication. Anything.
Okay.
We are ingesting. It matters much more of the dose, the amount that we are taking, the concentration, or the in terms of how much is getting into the system. And for energy drinks, we know ideally when it was fermented or brought into the market, it was to be a social drink. So not a drink you take like water, a whole cup at once. It was to be a social drink. And again, it was not a drink that you take a number of cans in one sitting. Because ideally the caffeine in majority of them, you find is way beyond the standard. If ideally you require around 400 mg of caffeine per day, you find some will have between 150 to 200. Then if you are taking 5, you're taking almost 1,000 mg of it. So obviously the side effects that come with caffeine, which are quite a number from affecting the cardiovascular system, increasing blood pressure, causing palpitations, bringing cardiac arrhythmias, affecting the central nervous system, as she has well alluded to, bringing about that extreme hyperactivity. We have seen that. Some have, although the studies are not yet well founded, have been shown even to cause damage to muscles, what we call rhabdomyolysis. And this damage to muscles causing a lot of tissue breakdown of muscles, again causing too much of complications, including kidney injury or failure, and again releasing too much potassium in the system, again exciting the heart and causing even cardiac arrest. So what we have seen is that trend that people are going towards the extreme that is causing this chaos that we are already seeing in our medical health facilities.
And I mean, the statistics say majority of the people who are sort of like heavily depending on energy boosters or energy drinks are mostly young people. But based on what you have seen, because again, like you said, lost a colleague to, you know, excessive usage of energy drinks, and also some of the trends that you've noticed. So in terms of the population, who are the most affected consumer of energy drinks, and in terms of the amount of time, you know, before you start noticing some of those things, what would you say in terms of the trends in the market?
Ideally, the youth are heavily affected, guys between, let's call it from 18 to around 35.
Okay.
Because most of them take it also like, you know, it's a peer influence. If my friends are doing it, I think it's a good thing. Others are also doing it when they are taking alcohol. And the reason they do it when they are taking alcohol, the other day I was seeing a certain brand being marketed in the country heavily. It's a beer with guarana. And the reason they are marketing the beer with guarana, remember beer or alcohol in itself, if you take it in smaller doses, it kind of begins exciting, then sedates. as you continue taking it.
Yeah.
So when you combine it with guarana, guarana is leaching caffeine. It counters the sedation. So you find now someone is taking more alcohol in the process. So again, you get alcohol intoxication. You're not getting drunk because you're already taking caffeine in a very high concentration.
Yeah.
So we have seen it in that. It's actually being marketed even in our social gatherings where people are taking alcohol. And the catch is a catch also from the manufacturers of some of the beer marketers, so that people can take more.
It also seems very cool. Like you walk around town and everybody is holding this kind of a certain energy drink and we think, oh, they're really, really cool. And even what you're saying, the way it's been marketed, it seems very cool. We all want to be a part of that quote-unquote gang. You people taking energy drinks. But it's to our own detriment. It's not very beneficial. But again, we'll look at it in terms of the amount. And right about now, with the different brands that are in the market, sometimes there's also the counterfeit, aspect when it comes to like energy drinks and whatnot. We'll look at it in just a second, but just very quickly before we go on a break, looking at the graphics that you see there on your screens, where we're talking about, energy drinks this morning. And like we said, they can have both benefits and effects depending on the consumption and individual tolerance. So let's look at the breakdown, okay? When we're talking about the benefits, and my side eye naangalia Betty kidogo to see if she'll be like, kwani? So there's the increased alertness and energy, and like we said, caffeine and other stimulants can boost alertness and reduce fatigue. We are talking about improved mental performance, which can enhance focus, concentration, and mental clarity. Okay, let's look at some of the other benefits if they're there. Enhanced physical performance as well. So it may improve endurance and reaction time, popular among athletes and gamers as well. So this is some of the benefits when we're looking at energy drinks. So it, like we said, can have benefits or effects as well. So caffeine crash, like we talked about, which again, energy boost is often followed by a crash, leaving you feeling tired, which Stella mentioned, and then sleep disruption. Consuming energy drinks, especially in large amounts or too close to bedtime, can disrupt sleep patterns, okay? Let's look at more effects of energy drinks, and we have anxiety and jitteriness, which again Stella mentioned, where high caffeine content can cause feelings of anxiety, nervousness, or jitteriness, and cardio concerns, which again Dr. has mentioned, where energy drinks have been linked to increased heart rate, blood pressure, and cardiovascular issues in some individuals, okay? Clearly the effects are more than the benefits. Sugar overload, like we talked about, Betty mentioned where many energy drinks contain high amounts of sugar, contributing to health issues like weight gain and dental problems, okay? So that when we come back from the break, we'd want to understand, so understanding clearly the effects outweigh the benefits of energy drinks. So then how do we strike a balance, in terms of finding out, what we need according to what our body needs at a specific time, okay? And I'm also curious for those people who say, hey, 5 cups of coffee in a day and I will be good to go. So does that also qualify as an energy drink, energy booster? We'll also look at that when we come back from the break, so just stay with us. The show is Your World, and just a quick reminder on the question that we're asking you this morning, and that is, how often do you rely on energy drinks, okay? We'll also be looking at your feedback when we come back from the break. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Of course, the conversation continues, even during the break. And this morning, we're looking at the energy drink trap, the cost of borrowed boosters. And like we said, more than half of the population, and this is across the globe, and especially the young people, they have a lifetime prevalence, of 54.7%, and we're looking at global energy drink use, okay? So the question is, why? Why are we consuming or over-consuming energy drinks, and what is it doing to our bodies? Do you know the effects, of the energy drinks? Before we went on a break, we looked at the benefits versus the effects, okay? And clearly the effects are much more, as compared to the benefits, okay? And even when you're taking this energy drinks, do you even know the content, of what exactly you're taking and what it will do to your body and to your brain? So that is the conversation that we're having this morning right here on Your World. And the question that we're asking is, how often do you rely on energy drinks? Like I said, I know someone who in the morning, instead of looking for tea, amata maji, okay? They look for an energy drink. So the big question is why? Why do we need this? But we have the best people to help us discuss the topic this morning right here on Your World. And again, Betty, when we look at coffee, because again, like, not coffee, caffeine, right? Which, like we said, it's the common denominator when we're looking at the different energy drinks that are available. But we also have people who rely on coffee. So maybe understanding coffee in itself, because we have instant coffees, which we're all culprits at some point. And also the different sources of caffeine and what that does to our body.
Thank you very much. And so the thing is, caffeine comes in very many things.
Okay.
Caffeine is even in medication, sometimes for things like headache or maybe pain. You'll have your normal medication for that condition, having also caffeine to help, the healing process or just the relief process to be much faster. But what we need to understand is that in such environments, then it is controlled. The amount that you can take per dose is controlled. So it can be used for medical purposes. In so many other conditions, even in weight management, but the amount is controlled. Remember what Stella said earlier, that that upsurge of caffeine intake can actually cause an increase in your cortisol and adrenaline, which are stress hormones. When the body is stressed, the end result is that it's going to be more tired than what it was before you took in what you took. So should we be taking coffee? Yes, we can take coffee.
Okay.
But what is the amount of coffee that we are taking? Ideally, as we said earlier, about 400 milligrams of caffeine in a day is good enough. But that would be if you're taking, where your cup is 250 ml, you're taking a maximum of 4 cups of coffee in a day. But that's brewed coffee, not instant coffee. Because the instant coffee, of course, will have a more concentration of the caffeine than in the brewed coffee. So maybe a cup or 2 of the instant, and if you can avoid it, even better.
Okay.
But then, at the back of our minds, we should also know that this person who wakes up in the morning and now wants to take the energy drink, which I don't know if we ever look at our nutrition fact panel when we are buying products. Because if we did, then we'll be able to clearly see how much it is that we're taking in. For example, a product comes and tells you, this is, 300 ml of the energy drink.
Okay.
Now, in the nutrition fact panel, you can clearly see that you have 150 milligrams of caffeine. When you look at it vis-a-vis what the recommended daily allowance for caffeine is, you'll think, well, I'm okay. But that's in 100 ml. How much are you taking? You're taking the 300.
Yes.
So it's actually supposed to be 150 times the 300.
Yeah.
The 3, because 300 ml. So that is 450, way above what you should be taking.
In a day.
Now, sometimes people are also saying, I am trying to work, and it is sad that we think it is amongst the alcoholics only, or people who have an issue with alcohol, or the young people. But even amongst colleagues, people want to produce so much with less sleep. I don't know if that's how the body should work. It will crash. It's like trying to run an engine beyond what it can stand with no engine oil. So you don't want to sleep, but you want to boost your energy. So what happens? You take in so much caffeine. Now this caffeine will go ahead to disturb your GI. So if you're somebody who has irritable bowel syndrome and you're taking in the caffeine to stay at night for longer hours, your tummy will disturb you so much. The heartburns, the ulcers, the gas, and everything in between will disturb you so much you'll not even be able to eat. The more we do this, the more we create a window for anemia. The more we create a window for even cancers, some types of cancers, stomach cancers and the rest. So we look at it from a very myopic point of view, looking at the now, but we are not looking at the long-term effect. Yes. And the sugar now makes it worse. You're taking it, you're in the house, you're not, and now we live in apartments that don't even have, don't allow sunlight in.
Yep.
And then you leave home early, you come back home late, or you're working from home. You're not seeing the sun, your vitamin D is low, you're taking in so much caffeine, it is leaching your calcium, and before you know it, you'll be a 30-year-old or a 20-year-old who now has osteoporosis, amongst so many other diseases. So if we could just take caution and just tell ourselves, do we have other things that can replace this coffee? Because it is an addiction path that you're creating. How much more difficult will it be to get out of this addiction path as opposed to not even starting in the first place? And if you must, if you must use any energy drink, then use it sparingly.
Okay.
Use it sparingly.
The question is it then dependent on either a weight, you know, because you see how sometimes when we're talking about alcohol, they say, oh, male can tolerate this much versus female. So I'm just wondering with the energy boosters or even coffee, for example, is it dependent, I mean, the amount that you talked about, is it dependent on body weight? Is it dependent on gender or...
So 400 milligrams in a day is a very general outlook to it.
Okay.
But remember, people have different sensitivity to the caffeine effect. So we may all take 100 milligrams of caffeine and respond differently, just like alcohol. But special populations, so children and even expectant breastfeeding mothers, those ones should not have more than 200 milligrams of caffeine in a day. Yes. Okay. And there are so many ways of ensuring that your caffeine intake goes down. So maybe if I still want my coffee and I take 1 cup of coffee, then all the rest should be herbal tea or water, something else that would be able to dilute that.
Okay.
Because remember, you're taking all this tea and you're not drinking the water.
Yes.
So you're only causing more problems to the heart.
Like we said, we're supplementing. It's like, me sipendi maji. Maji hata inaga taste. So you take something that, quote unquote, ikona taste.
There are nice ways of making water taste
right?
good. Yes.
Let's talk about that. But can we also explore the addiction? And then Doc will come and really explore the why. I know we talked about it a little bit, and we talked about marketing, again, of the brands and whatever it is being presented to us. We all want the good things, the nice things, the things that look cool, but most of the time they end up being detrimental to our health. So we really explore the why and how do we come out of it. But addiction, first of all, how do we know that someone is addicted to energy drinks? Because like I said, it's been normalized. It seems like a cool thing that you tell someone that you don't take energy drinks and they look at you like something is wrong with you, right? So how do I know that I am addicted? What are some of the signs to look out for? Or even getting to that level of dependency, and addiction.
So some of the signs to look out for is how your body reacts when you don't have it.
Okay.
So look out for like headaches, fatigue, low mood, irritability. Another thing to look out for is when, just like Daktari said, you're mixing this, you're mixing it with alcohol, you're using it more than you should, you are spending too much money on it, you are trying to be secretive, and so those are some of the things which you can try and evaluate about how much you're taking these energy drinks. Yeah.
Okay. And also exploring how then that either impacts our day-to-day lives, because you talked earlier on and said there's some people who, you know, they become irritable, they're not able to concentrate in as much as we're saying we're taking these energy drinks to help us, you know, focus better. So then how do you get to that point of addiction? And how different does the brain sort of like function when we're looking at addiction of energy drinks?
You get to that stage, wait, what was the other question?
Addiction part, right?
Yeah.
How does the brain, like, sort of like, how is the brain altered to tell you that you are addicted to energy drinks, that you cannot function without? Like, how is that altered versus a normal person who doesn't take energy drinks?
So for example, someone who doesn't take energy drinks is well rested, they don't struggle with fatigue, their mood is not altered, there's no emotional dysregulation. But for someone who is addicted, especially to caffeine, they cannot live without it. They cannot function without the boost. And that is a huge red flag. Just like you give the example of your friend who needs to take an energy booster when they wake up. That's a huge red flag. And it's a sign of dependency. And with dependency comes tolerance, like I mentioned, like you keep taking more and more to get the boost. For example, you are just taking 1 bottle in the beginning and you are getting the boost for, let's say, like 4 hours. But now you can't take a bottle and get the same boost. You need like maybe 3 more or 4 more to get the same boost and to get you productive for longer. And what this does is it creates a cycle, a problematic cycle. So you take this and just like you get insomnia and you wake up groggy and focused and motivated and with fatigue. And when this happens, what do? You buy more caffeine, you get more coffee, more energy drink. So the cycle keeps repeating itself, and long-term use is quite chronic because you're basically putting your body in a stress state because of these hormones that are being produced over time. Cortisol, adrenaline.
Okay, so long term, how does that look like in terms of the problems that it's like tunajiletea sisi wenyewe some of these problems, right? So someone who is not sleeping, how will that person be affected long term? Someone who, you know, is heavily dependent on this thing, how are they affected then long term? Because most of the time we look at now and the need is to get that boost now. But long term, if this person continues like this, what is the detriment, especially to the brain?
So long term, this means you are always fatigued and you're not sleeping. So long term, that means like your circadian rhythm is disrupted. You're not supposed to, the time you're supposed to be sleeping, you're not sleeping. The times where you are supposed to be awake, you are sleeping. So that kind of messes you up. And also, just like I said, fatigue, a lot of fatigue, chronic fatigue, and which now trickles down to, because our nervous system is overstimulated, trickles down to like conditions like hypertension.
I see that. And then we blame, oh, I am working extra hours, I'm working too. No, you're not working longer shifts.
And actually,
you just,
Actually, when we look at it, and somebody will say, we now have so many cases of diabetes, early onset diabetes, what could be causing this? And then you realize an increase in cortisol or an increase in the stress hormones will actually increase the insulin resistance in our bodies. So with increased insulin resistance, definitely we are all landing ourselves into diabetes. So if we don't take care of that, then we are going to see a lot of young people now becoming diabetic.
And also to add in that line, too much consumption, what has been shown to happen. It's in a similar line when people take cathinone, found in cat. You're pushing the body to run on overdrive. You know, the Subaru scenario where you're on overdrive and the turbo. So you're pushing the body to run on turbo continuously. And one other thing that will also come in, to some extent, when the body is under so much strain, psychosis will develop. Mental disturbance. You're not resting, you're having insomnia. I mean, again, because of the crash, there's mood swings. Once in a while, you're up and happy. Another time, you look depressed and burnt out. So that extreme sets of it will also bring a lot of mental disturbance and also will affect your personality in terms of how you're engaging people. You find people who are consuming too much of stimulants, they tend to be aggressive. You know, the irritability also borders towards aggression. And they want to push as much. So with that will also come violence. Because there has been shown there's a very big relation between stimulants and violence. Wherever it occurs. Either with the hard drugs, either with this, we'll say, soft of them in terms of caffeine and all that. The extreme and continuous use of them also triggers that. Thank you.
And, wow. So most of the time, like, because we usually, looking at ourselves, our health-seeking behavior, first of all, is terrible.
If we have any.
If we have any. Oh, it's not bad if we have any. And then majority of the times we tend to blame other things other than the lifestyle, the day-to-day, you know, habits and just what we're doing to ourselves and to our bodies, thinking that this is cool, but really it isn't. Can we also explore the fact that it is readily available and it's, I would say, affordable, and how that the affordability in itself causes all these other problems that we're seeing. Even younger children, Betty, you were talking about it during the break, are actually consuming energy drinks, in the market. Doc, can we just explore that and how dangerous that is to just us as a people?
Idea right now is even being sold in the streets. You'll find drivers along the highways. And near bumps.
And
that's
even
where you find
neighborhood kiosks,
neighborhood kiosks, the hawkers.
Even the hawkers.
Everyone is selling. I think it's one of the easiest ways to make money, apart from water, selling water. It's selling energy drinks. That availability is what has made now become a big problem even in this country. As we had discussed earlier, in Europe they have started controlling it. In some countries they have started putting legislations around it and fixing a few other controls so that it's not as easily leachable to anyone who comes your way. The biggest challenge also for the younger generation using it, remember brain development. The optimal brain maturity or development is usually at the age of 25. Below that, too much of this consumption altering the physiology and basically also the body functionality, I would say, usually has a toll on the young ones as they grow. Just as we usually say about too much screen time, too much of now caffeine at this stage before the brain is matured enough will have a negative effect on their brain as they develop. And to some extent, because of the extreme use of it, you have seen it's not just the brain, but generally even the general functionality of what we call the musculoskeletal stature of a person, to some extent when it's used in extreme. Now, again, as she had said, there are risk factors. We have seen because of their availability, so many people are using it without knowing. And some of them, and as we have seen, those having heart conditions and kidney issues are becoming even much more affected without knowing. Because again, as if for the heart, remember it is enhancing the blood pressure, it is causing cardiac arrhythmias or affecting the heart rate, it will have a toll on them. For the pregnant mothers, as ladies, as she has mentioned, it's more about the hormonal aspect of it. As a lady is pregnant, there's a lot of hormonal changes that will occur, so that also is a big challenge. Now, for many other clients and so or people even using drugs, there are drugs that are known to inhibit excretion or removal of caffeine. So what will happen, you'll compound the effect or you'll enhance the effect of caffeine. So you have just to be keen as a person. As we always say, sometimes security begins with us. I think also for Kenyans, we need to advise them that health begins with you. As you take this thing, remember caffeine is classified also as a drug. And the more it is in the energy drinks which you are taking socially, the more harmful or toxic can it be to us.
If I'd add, actually caffeine, for someone who struggles with anxiety or attention difficulties, it makes it worse because of, like we said, the stress hormones. So it's important for people who already struggle with anxiety and concentration difficulties to stay away from energy drinks.
Okay. We'll look at then what are some of the healthier options that are available in the market. Have you seen this? It was a trend, I think, sometime last year or the year before, where people would use like menthols and then put that in an energy drink. Did you guys see that? Yes. I wonder what the impact is, because it's like more or less what you talked about. You use alcohol and then you do energy drinks. You mix them together. I don't know how much of an impact that is.
They were doing. I think, in my opinion, that was an addition of sugar on top of sugar. And by the way, the good news, just when the report on World Health Organization guidelines on controlling sugar-sweetened beverages came out, and actually in the health sector, Kenya, we've actually moved a step, and I think we are at implementation stages so that we impose taxation on people who will not go by the guidelines. Ideally, if you're going to have any added sugars in any drink, whether it's carbonated or non-carbonated beverage, it should be less than 10%. So then there should be a taxation cap on it, so that the more you pass that threshold, the more you pay for it, and then that money now can be put into tax rebates for those who are doing things by the book. And that money can also be put into education and awareness for the masses to just help people understand that, you know what, we're not doing this to make business environment difficult for you, but we're doing this to save ourselves the cost of healthcare. And that money can also still be sent back to healthcare so that we're not struggling as we are right now.
Yeah.
So then, do we have other options? And having said that the policies are here to tax added sugar, they're like, so Mesema, we will not drink juice? Ideally, if we're looking at somebody being able to use 40 shillings to buy an energy drink, which is laden with a lot of all these undesirable ingredients in large amounts, as we have said, then we should make it so difficult for that person to produce en masse and have their products very cheap.
Yes.
So that when the product is expensive, what is the option you're left with? That 40 shillings you'll use to buy a mango.
That's true.
And then you will eat it.
Speaking of mangoes, they're in season now.
I know. I need a cow friend. So you'll be forced to buy the fruit, which will now come in with the fiber, with the nutrients, and all that.
Yeah.
Then it should be able to allow us to then afford water for a majority of the people. It is so sad that there are parts of this country where safe, clean drinking water is a myth. It's something that doesn't exist. It's sad. But if we have that money, then we can sink so many boreholes and treat water for our population to have water. We can also take tea. Of course, when I say take tea, I am not referring to people going to take 1.5 liters of milk tea the whole day and adding sugar to it. I am saying when we are taking tea, probably you want to choose the option of herbal tea. Because if you're going to take your herbal tea with no sugar or sugar sugar sweetened, what the sweeteners added to it, then that is considered water.
Okay.
And then you're enhancing your hydration status. Or you'll say, let me take milk. All right, let me just take a glass of milk instead of that caffeine energy booster. And let's learn to be able to, which Stella can allude to, can we learn to be able to be comfortable with our space and ourselves? Most of us right now need things that will fit into certain space.
Yes.
We are not living space. We don't know how to rest. A space must be filled by something, otherwise you are deemed to be lazy. So once we learn how to live with ourselves, even the anxiety and ADHD disorders will be able to be dealt with, and we will not be running to other things to fill up that space. If we remove the noise, detox for lack of a better word, then we will be okay. We don't need that. But the more we are getting into this rushed system, the more we are trying to be superhumans, the more we are asking our systems to look for other things that will add on to the talk, like he said, and we'll crush ourselves.
I see. Watch out, we should go a break, okay? Because it sounds very depressing. But again, these are the things that we do to us. You have to take this or else. No, it's the things that we do. And again, like we said, different factors have brought us to where we are at today. So the bigger question is then, can we redeem ourselves? And especially when we get to that point of dependency and addiction, can we reverse, so that we adopt healthier, options? And how do we stay consistent? Because we're looking at sustainability aspect of it, so that we don't, January with the New Year resolutions, tumeanza hii mwaka tunakula healthy, and then before you know it, we're back to how we used to do things,
when you get the money, when you get paid.
Right? So how do we do that? So that is what is coming up after the break. Do stay with us on the second hour of the show right here on Your World. See you then. Welcome back. Officially the second hour of the conversation today, and we are looking at energy drinks, energy boosters, and what they're doing to our bodies. And the question that we're asking you this morning is very simple, okay? The question is, how often do you rely on energy drinks? How often do you rely on energy drinks? Are you that type of a person who's like, 5 cans, okay, or 5 bottles in a day will do me good, as far as energy drinks are concerned? How often do you really rely on them We'll be looking at your feedback in just a moment. And we have looked at the baseline, the contents, and what they're doing to our body. So the bigger question is then, kuna chance here for us to redeem ourselves, okay? And for those people who are really, really deep in it, what are some of the things that they can do to just get out of that? Because like we looked at the graphics as well, which we'll play at some point during the conversation, the effects actually outweigh the benefits. So then how do we do better? Because this is more of like a lifestyle, I'd want to say, a problem as compared to, oh, we've been forced to drink these things because if not, something will happen, okay? And Stella, let's just begin with you, and especially for that person who's heavily dependent on it, or a person who is now has become addicted to it. What kind of chance you could redeem themselves, and what is it that they can do?
Yes, there is a chance. Not all hope is lost.
Oh, okay, that's a good thing.
So what you want to do is to cut back slowly. You don't want to suddenly go cold turkey and then suffer from any withdrawal symptoms, because remember, you've been a heavy user.
Yeah.
So cut down slowly, and you can use other substitutes like tea, herbal tea. One of the differences in the caffeine in tea and in energy drinks is that the caffeine in tea is more natural occurring, as opposed to the one in energy drinks, which is synthetic.
Okay.
So as you're cutting down, you're replacing it with tea. You're also trying to find out the reason for your chronic fatigue. What is behind your chronic fatigue that you're really trying to fight? And just knowing that rest, just like Betty said, rest is really important.
Yeah.
You can't be constantly on overdrive, otherwise you're going to crash. And this looks like more, you'll be even admitted, more hospital bills, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And physical exercise is also really recommended.
Okay.
I know that is, people always think that this is a rumor, but actually ni ukweli. It's true. Yeah. Exercise is really important, and also just trying to establish a routine, sleep hygiene. You don't want to start ati unaingia bed saa moja ama saa mbili, and then you start scrolling on your phone until like 10, and then you sleep at like 12, and you have to wake up for work at like 7 or at like 5.
Yeah.
If you're living on Thika Road, maybe 4.
At this point.
Yeah. So not all hope is lost. You can still cut down, replace with healthier alternatives. Remember, this is for your own benefit, for your own future's benefit.
I see.
And you're going to thank yourself later.
Yeah. Is the effect the same as, say, someone who is addicted to alcohol or drugs? Because like we said, caffeine is
It's a drug.
right?
It's a drug.
So is the when we're looking at addiction, and we've talked about addiction here on the show several times, and I want to believe we have some sort of idea that what addiction looks like when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. So is it the same, or is there a difference?
It's not the same. Like addiction to caffeine and addiction to alcohol are quite different.
Okay.
With alcohol, you can't. Alcohol, actually, you need to be rehabilitated so that you don't go into a delirium tremens and go into a coma.
Okay.
And that is not something we see in coffee. You have more control in terms of coffee or caffeine, to be specific. In coffee or energy drinks, you have more control. You can cut back. You can reverse some of the restlessness, jitteriness. You can go back to baseline. Yes, as opposed to like alcohol, you need medical assistance. You need to deal with more extreme withdrawal symptoms that are in alcohol that are not in caffeine.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And also it is easier to get addicted to alcohol. It's much faster and easier.
Okay.
Because of the feelings you get. You feel happy. With coffee, I don't think they elicit hormones like serotonin and dopamine. But with alcohol, your cognitive is impaired. You make rash judgments, and you feel elated and happy. Yeah, so those are some of the differences.
I say that. And Doc, we talked about our hearts might be affected, talked about how our brain might be affected, our kidneys might be affected. So how bad, can it get if we don't either cut back, reduce, or completely stop? And we're looking at with time, because we're discussing this during the break, and said angalia village yenyu, do you have someone hana diabetes, hana hypertension and whatnot? Because the numbers are actually low. Like right now we're seeing 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds with some of these conditions that we considered an old people problem a few years ago.
Actually, what do you call the chronic effects out of chronic use or long-term use of caffeine? These would occur. One of it, elevated blood pressure, will trigger so many other things. I was looking at a certain study, and because of that, if you're chronically taking these high amounts of caffeine, it can cause bleeding. We call it bleeding on arteries, swelling here and there around some arteries. And most of the time that can trigger things like even stroke with high blood pressure. And also it can trigger what we call as cardiovascular accidents, where you get into cardiac arrest. So that continuous excessive amounts that you're putting into the system will start developing or causing the body to start developing these kind of shortcomings, weakening of some of the blood vessels because of extreme blood pressure. Then also, it has been noted over time that with that continuous intake of the caffeine, what causes the arrhythmias is that, to some extent, as I had said earlier, you can either in acute way cause damage of the muscles. Okay, let me start with the acute way. In the acute way, it can trigger damage of muscles, releasing myoglobin and quite a number of, the electrolytes that will cause that now acute damage of the kidney or acute kidney injury. But again, now, the moment also that happens, you'll be releasing potassium in high levels. Potassium is an electrolyte known to excite some of the muscle tissue we have, including even the heart. That again will lead to affecting the heart rhythm, and again can trigger cardiac arrest. Also, it has been shown to cause, to some extent, again, if you're taking it chronically, ventricular fibrillation. Now, for ventricular fibrillation, again, you're talking of the heart, the ventricle, the lower part that pushes the blood to the rest of the body, are not able to contract appropriately, that you require to be resuscitated if it happens. Now, if someone around you doesn't know how to manage that, you're gone. As Kenyans are saying nowadays, connecting to Sayun. And you just go, as in you drop. People don't know whether you have dust, it's normal fainting, what we call syncope, or is it a cardiac arrest? And if they can't tell within that instance, you have minutes before you go. That's what is happening, as we can see. Normally, again, all chemicals we take, we usually remove or excrete and clear from the system. But the problem is that chronic, consistent intake. Another thing, remember some of these energy drinks have vitamins. They have vitamin B3, B6, and
B6,
B12. Again, what has been known, the toxicity of vitamins, we call it the vitaminosis. And one of the things, especially if you are consuming too much elevated or extreme concentrations of vitamin, for example, B6, it's supposed to manage, called the pyridoxine, some aspect of peripheral neuropathy. But again, excessive consumption will cause it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You find people having tingling effects on their finger extremities and the feet. And again, some will start developing that peripheral neuropathy with numbness. They look as if they are crippling or getting lame as they carry on. So these are now the long-term effects you start seeing along the way. And what I had also alluded to earlier, when you deprive your brain sleep for a long time, she can testify to that. You most of the time with stress and stress hormones being released, the other quickest thing that develops is psychosis. You become deranged. your brain, let me say the word software. Your software starts leading left, right, and center. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it manifests itself now with people who are consuming it in that large amount. We have seen, as I was mentioning, is that most people want to do it because they want to cover a lot of work. Earlier, before we were discussing, people are doing a 3-day job in 4 hours overnight.
Yeah.
A young guy will tell you, Mudos, because when the deadline, today is Wednesday, you tell them next week on Monday.
Yeah, they'll tell
Then you see the young man bringing the work on tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, when did you do this? Don't
Yeah.
worry, I transnited. This is normal. They'll tell you it's normal. But I don't know what they're doing to their brains. That extreme push, what you say is an overdrive, is actually causing a psychological breakdown to them.
You know what? We make this joke like in our day to day. We're like, yeah, tutalala mbinguni, tutapewa mwili mpya mbinguni. But really, we take it lightly, but we're doing more harm. That. Yes, to come, like what you're saying, we will not have that body to take us to heaven so that we're given a new word, right? So, and also the fact that we're mixing all these things together, are we like creating more problems and making the problems come faster? And are we seeing more worse effects when we're looking at the way we're mixing all those things? Some people might even take 2 cups of coffee and then a couple of energy drinks, during the day. So it's like we're mixing everything up just to sustain us, during the day. Does that make the problems even far worse and far not easier, but inakuja haraka as compared to looking at it long term?
Yeah, it's true, Winnie. She can attest sugars age. Cause the body to age faster.
Yes.
Remember now you're junking, allow me to use a word. You're junking all your stuff in your body. There's too much of sugars. They cause your system, body, what do you call it? The tissues to age faster. Actually, it is very counterproductive. And again, when it comes to issues of stress, with stress, it comes with a lot of compounded issue. You end up, as I was saying, you can develop insulin resistance, you can develop high blood pressure just because of just stress.
Yeah.
The hormones, as the body tries to fight to survive. So what you're doing actually to yourself, if you would have developed it in 5-10 years to come, you're reducing that time maybe to 1 or 2 years down the line. And then you find a young man who should be looking like 25, he's looking like he's 45. And you're like, wait a minute, who is older between the two?
Yeah.
And again, what we used to perceive as all people diseases, with age as they come, you start seeing them manifesting with young people. It happens,
I see that.
And what we are probably also maybe not looking at, the more we are intoxicating ourselves with caffeine, the more we are changing our relationships around people and therefore relationships around food.
Yes.
Because if you're intoxicated and now you've gotten into anxiety and a bit of psychosis, as we're trying to say, you will not be with people. So will you be with them when they're eating? So you will make your own decisions to eat or not to eat.
Not to eat,
When it sends you to eat on that energy crash, your body is not going to ask you for an avocado or an apple. It will ask you for something that almost matches the energy that you're used to. So what will it send you back to? Junking. What will you be doing to your body? You will be eating very high calorie, but zero on nutrients. Before you know it, you have landed yourself into overweight and obesity. What happens to your brain? You now have issues with self-esteem, and you don't like the way you look and all that. At the end of the day, now you're getting into depression. You're getting into depression, you're probably even put into medication, you've started medication, the antidepressants, and then you're still taking your caffeine. The medications are interacting. So you're not even helping the situation. So the stress that you're trying to run away from, which was probably I don't have a job, so I'm drinking these things to keep me alert, to try and work online and do this. You'll use all that money you're trying to find to go back to hospital. So it is a cycle that you really do not want to start. But as Stella had said earlier, we can always fix ourselves. I have a problem. I have identified. I take up to 5 cans of energy drink in a day. what is the root cause? The problem is not the taking of the caffeine.
Yeah.
What has made me find solace in the
yes.
caffeine? And if it is stress, where is the source of the stress? Is it something that can be discussed? And now people are saying, you know what, you can't discuss with friends because before you know it, you'll be in the WhatsApp group being discussed and your screenshots will be there. But that's why we have people like Stella.
Yes.
Because then it is very objective. You're here for therapy, and let us normalize therapy.
Yeah.
Because then there has to be an outlet for something. If the outlet is not there, we will go on to the wrong side of things, and before you know it, it's a fatality, like death.
Yeah.
So as long as we have an outlet and we have identified what the root cause of the problem is, then you start working on that. Something as easy as relaxation and mindfulness. Just being aware of the place where you are, being able to relax, probably even doing things like yoga. That exercise that we think does not count. And that doesn't mean we need to go to the gym. It is just, can I use my 10, 15 minutes in a day, whether in the morning or in the evening, to try and do an exercise to create a good, feel-good hormones in you.
Yes.
And detoxing from these gadgets of ours. But then nothing will happen. Okay, maybe for the TV people will say will not have the money.
Yeah.
But for me, as a person watching the TV, nothing will happen if I don't watch TV for a day. Trust me. Nothing will happen if I don't go on social media to find out how many people have been killed in a day. Because if there is an earthquake where I am, I'll see people screaming and we will all run away. So it's never that serious. Let's just detox. Kids, again, I know parents who are struggling with kids, and I know now learning has come online thanks to COVID, and there is a lot of screen time. We have a lot of screen-induced autism right now, okay? Just because, oh, the child can't eat before they watch a cartoon. You will eat. If you don't eat, you will sleep hungry. Tomorrow you'll be hungry, you will eat. And that gadget will not be there. So we also have to learn to detox so that our brains can be slowed down. I think there's a book which says the things you realize only when you slow down. So that our brains can be slowed down. Once our brains are slowed down, then we are able to eat correctly to support the brain to function well. Because for as long as you're eating all the funny things that you're not supposed to eat, your brain will not function well. And you will run for something to give you that energy that you're lacking.
I see that. Yes. And also, Stella, you mentioned, I mean, don't go cold turkey. You know, supplement with something else so that your brain or the body doesn't feel, why are you denying us the good things? And, you know, so we'll find ways to even crave harder that you, at some point you'll just, you know, you fall. But can we also talk about social media and the pressure? Because listen, saizi kwanza there's a big thing about a fridge restock. Every week tuna restock fridge, and the things that we see, they open this beautiful fridge and tunaona energy drink, and they look very beautiful. And me, I want my fridge to look like that. Okay, so can you talk about this pressures that we're seeing on social media, and what we see, how the brain interprets and then informs sort of like a habit, you know, culture or behavior, and how do we come out of it?
So now with, just like we had talked about earlier, these energy drinks are advertised in such a tantalizing way.
FOMO,
from social media influencers, maybe not even in Kenya, even outside. The meal prep videos you're talking about, fridge measure like tons of energy drinks.
Fast shelf.
And it's easy to get sucked into that wormhole of thinking maybe this is a way that can make me more productive because this person I admire is taking it. In fact, that's why advertising companies use celebrities. If I see someone like a celebrity who is taking something, I'm more likely to buy it. I want to, not because I love how it tastes, but this guy I like is advertising it. And that can be quite detrimental because you ever utasafa. You are the one who's going to suffer through the fatigue, poor concentration, you won't be sleeping, all these other things, just because you got sucked into that wormhole. So it's important to stick by your values. Do not be tossed to and fro by everything that you see on social media, from influencers. Some of these even influencers or people don't even take these energy drinks, let alone even the CEOs of these companies don't even take these energy drinks. So why should you take these energy drinks? We've discussed that the effects are much more, they're much higher than the benefits. So if, like, let's say as a rational person, you would draw up a pro and cons list, you can clearly tell that the con outweighs the pros. I see that. Don't believe what you see on social media. And it's true, and especially when you mentioned CEO, and I remember I was watching a certain documentary and the CEO of a certain company that produces so this energy, they don't consume. They do not consume. So why do you want to do that to yourself? And Daktari, so then understanding the impact and the effect, you know, that they have, but right about now we also see people take medication. I think maybe Betty, you mentioned it. So they take medication with an energy drink. I don't know how that looks like. And also, we're seeing athletes, people who want to stay fit and go to the gym, they're actually using energy drinks as well to boost, you know, their energy level so that they stay on that treadmill for like 7 hours. So I don't know if this is a problem in itself, and how do we, you know, rectify that?
It's well put. I think one of the biggest driving factors, as you're saying, is energy boost. Most of our athletes and a couple of guys even in going for gym just to exercise, they would rather take the drink so that you can go longer. Little do they know you're harming your body. If ideally your muscle can take a certain load of pressure in terms of if it's a gym, you're lifting up weights and or you're landing on a treadmill, you're supposed to take, it also has a daily rate or a daily average. When you exert more and you start producing some of these things, we should say like lactic acidosis and all that, you're harming the body more without knowing. Your mind is telling you, go, go, go. Or your body is telling you, go, go, go. But you are actually causing more harm than good. One of the classical also presentation we have seen even as people try learning into these energy drinks is that there are alternatives, especially even for people going to the gym. We usually know there are solutions made with some specific, just electrolytes. Because all that you're using mainly is water and electrolytes. You don't need to add anything else. And once you get to know these drinks, they are still also in the market that have electrolytes and just fluid or water. It will make it even easier for you in the long term so that it don't cause harm. For the people who take it because simply you want to stay a long time awake, there are various ways you can manage wakefulness, if I may use a word. One is sleep well before the day and avoid distraction. I believe she can allude to that or testify to that. And then also there's the aspect of your nutrition, which she can also mention a lot of it. The foods that can help you keep awake without too much of getting energy drinks into the system. And also, as you had said earlier, there's a limit. Yes, it was designed as a social drink. It was not designed as the only drink. You know, sometimes now you admit it as the only drink. And allow me to connect with the aspect of social, or what we call psychosocial kind of support among human. All of us, whether extroverts or introverts, we are designed as social beings. You cannot stay alone. But you won't tell me I can't call you for a game of football, for a game of handball, for a game of volleyball, or call you for some, I know it may look hard, call you for some uji, or what else, or soup. I always make fun with some of my friends. Why don't you just come, we take some soup,
please,
play a game on the table, keep all these things that keep messing up our bodies, and then keep the focus. I think that's what I can mention around
I see.
it. Yeah.
And just to go through a few of your feedback in regards to the question of the day, that is, how often do you rely on energy drinks? I can see a number of people here who say I don't, which is a good thing. And please don't, forever. You don't?
I don't.
Oh, that's good.
I don't.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I remember there's one time, sometime last year, I was driving home. Shags, don't know how long the journey can be. 7 hours, 8 hours on the road. So I took one, and I'm like, what is this? Like, it's not even nice. I didn't like it, and I didn't even finish. So I will categorize myself as those people who don't. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't. So Vincent says I don't. Purity Hudson says I don't. And then we have Brian Frank who says daily. And then has put a heartbreak emoji and, crying face emoji daily. So I think maybe we'll help, Brian to come out of it, okay? And then Levi Levina, still on Facebook, who says, I don't. My body should produce its own energy. If I lack energy, I will know that my body is sick and I need medication, not a drink.
Yes.
Okay. And then Budamori is anasema, never ever tasted such stuff. That's a good thing. Daniel Kamau says not at all, which is a good thing. And then Solomon Koros, who says, personally, I don't. But I have tried once and repeat taking energy drink and soda again in my lifetime. I am taking water instead all the way. Okay, tried once, maybe they didn't like it, and now they're taking water, which is a good thing. I didn't like it either, right? That's a good thing. It's a good thing. Water is good. And you talked about, Betty, and probably maybe we'll take this after, that there are several ways to make water tasty. Because a lot of people are like, imagine, no, me, I don't like water. It's not tasty. It's this and that. So there's several ways that you can do, and also on nutrition as well. How do we supplement so that our body does not crave, the energy boosters that we think we need in a day? But let's take a break, and then we'll come back. We'll pick up from there and also highlight on regulation. So then what do we do in terms of regulations? Do we enforce like stricter measures, policies, even with the manufacturers, at that? Yeah. So there's so much to come on the other side. Just stay with us. The show is Your World. All right, welcome back. Officially, the last few minutes before we say goodbye right here on Your World. Today, the conversation is on the energy drink trap, and we're looking at the impact that it has really on our body and our thinking and our behavior and our attitude and everything else, that make us who we are today. And we're saying, for those people who are really deep down, in this trap, there's hope. Like Stella said, all is not lost. There is hope for you. And there's several things that you can do to get out of that sinkhole, first of all, and then do better in terms of our lifestyle and our daily habits. But just to remind you on the question that we're asking you this morning, and that is, how often do you rely on energy drink? Huyu ni Joel. Joel Nyawadi anasema, I made a stop of drinking this stuff. Listen to your body always, whatever you consume. I really like that. We're being mindful. Well, maybe not all of us. Chemu anasema every day. And then Buddha Morris anasema, I have never tasted that stuff, which is good. So for this person, and Betty, this is for you, that person who says they take this daily. Okay, this is Brian Frank. Na huyo mwingine pia, right? How do we then help these people to just find healthier alternatives, and what are some of these healthy alternatives that are available?
Thank you, and I'm actually happy that they're very honest about what is happening to them. It essentially means they are halfway through the journey of trying to fight that addiction.
Yes.
So if you're taking every day, how many are you taking? And then can you have a goal to just write down, this is how many I'm taking, and I want to probably just reduce one in a day for the next 1 week, proceed on to the next one and the next one.
Okay.
But as I'd said earlier, also try and find out the reason as to why you think or feel you need the extra energy. Because once that is sorted, maybe you think, I want this extra energy because I always have a lot of work and therefore I need to stay alert. Ask yourself, of the a lot of work that you need to do, is it something that can be delegated to somebody else? Is it something that can be done over a period of time so that you schedule yourself in a manner that you're still able to meet the deadline, but with less pressure? Because truth be said, if you take yourself out, connect sayuni na Wi-Fi, that work will still be done.
Yes, by somebody else.
That work will be done by somebody else, even before you are warm enough to go into the morgue.
Yes.
All right? So once you organize yourself in that way, then you're able to, start getting out of the addiction. The other thing is, at what times does it happen?
Okay.
Does it happen when you're lacking sleep? Then the lack of sleep is what needs to be sorted.
Okay.
Does it happen when you're unable to socialize with people? So some people, maybe they're not taking alcohol and the fear or the inability to socialize normally makes them want something that will give them a false high so that they feel like they have the energy to talk around people.
Yeah.
So again, that has to be fixed. Is it from a trauma from long time ago and you're trying to sort that?
Yeah.
And that's why we have therapists to try and help you. So do not be your own doctor, always seek the help. Now, in terms of what you need to eat, and with the fridge restocks, again, maybe now we need to do a version of fridge restocks. For those who have energy, I can tell maybe you guys still have the energy. Do a fridge restock with correct things.
Yes.
So that now the world can see the other side of life.
Yeah.
Of course, mine will have githeri.
And that's a good
mboga ya
thing.
kienyeji.
I think we need to please do that for us. And the capsicums and the different colors.
yeah.
Because they look so beautiful
Yes,
too.
I will do that restock and just send it
Please
out there.
do.
Of course, most people will hate what my fridge looks like, but it is okay. That's the real thing. So also it is, what are the times when I take this? If I am taking my energy drinks or I am being drawn towards my energy drinks at times when ideally they should be meal times, then it tells me I am hungry.
Yes.
So this lack of energy is because of hunger.
Yeah.
So if it is 12 o'clock and I feel the urge to want to have the energy drink,
Yeah.
I know this is close to lunchtime. Can I now have my lunch that is balanced with carbohydrate, proteins, and vegetables, and then you will have your water.
Yeah.
Sometimes also you feel the need to have your energy drink, even if it's not towards a meal time, but it is because you're dehydrated. You're dehydrated, so your body is seeking for that energy, but you're not necessarily hungry, you're just dehydrated.
Yeah.
Before you reach out for that energy drink, that can you take your water first?
Yes.
If you also do not stock it in the house and you need it at midnight, can you make one in the house? You can't. You can't manufacture one in the house. So what are the chances you'll take it? Zero.
Zero.
So if you are not putting yourself in temptation's way, then you will not fall into that temptation.
Yes.
So simply do not buy them. Look at where most of them are sold even in our supermarket shelves. Where then you're not making the decision. Just when you're about to leave. Just when you're about to exit. Or when the queue at the supermarket seems to be so long and you're trying to look for things to do. Then you'll buy it. So once you're conscious of that, I've gone into my grocery store shopping, well hydrated, well fed, and relaxed. You will not remember to pick it. And if it is the ladies, if it happens at a certain time, then just look at your cycle again and see what is happening. Maybe you're responding to a hormonal change, shift, and that, because most ladies will even tell you, I go for chocolates, and then when I get home after eating the whole bar, I remember, oops,
why?
It's just about the day.
Yes.
So once you're aware of that, you will remember, for me to want this, it is because it is this time of the month and I will not want it.
I see.
And how do you make your water interesting? You can infuse your water. You can have mint in it. You can have some cucumber slices in it. Not that they'll cause anything that will make you lose the weight, all right? But they'll give water a different taste. You can have a slice of lemon or orange in it, some pear slices or apple slices in it. And when I say this, I'm cognizant of the fact that we also have flavored water that is being sold.
Already,
I am not against flavored water, but just always look at your nutrition fact panel. The other thing that the policy on taxation of sugar-sweetened beverages is coming with is the law to allow people to properly label their foods so that the labels are legible and what is of concern is highlighted. If it's sugar, is highlighted so that you can clearly see it and you can clearly interpret it. Of course, we hope that there's money to carry out this advocacy, and of course the media houses can help us with that. So once the labels are there, even when you're going to buy your flavored water, it may not be carbonated, so not dangerous, but just check how much is contained of what ingredient and is it detrimental to my health.
I actually think it should not be at the back, it should be up at the front.
Actually, it is called front of pack labeling, so it is something that we've advocated for, and the government has taken it up, and I'm sure we'll be implementing it soon. And as it comes, can we also have our regulators making sure that what we write on those products is actually what it contains, and then see what to do with the counterfeits. Because again, the moment we do something right, there is the parallel counterfeit industry that will want to ape that and give us the wrong product. And lastly, just being able to talk to ourselves. If today I tell Dr. Wahome here or Stella or yourself, Winnie, I tell you what is right and we all do it, we will influence 2 other people, and that will be 8 or 10 who will influence the next 10, and then it has a spiral effect.
And that's why we're nominating you to do a fridge restock healthier version.
I'll get the energy to influence. I will try.
And Doc, we also talked about the mixing, you know, of the things, people who take alcohol with their medication and or energy drink with their medication, and just the mixing of, you know, this whole thing. Probably speak on that, and also on regulation, because I see, yes, our time is far much spent, but we still have some time, so don't be in a rush. But yes, speak on those two.
Okay, I think the first thing is to acknowledge, as we had said earlier, energy drinks have a lot of caffeine, and it's classified as a drug. Same as alcohol. Alcohol, we study it actually as a drug. Yes, it may be called a beverage, but it's still a drug. And one thing we also acknowledge is that for these two, or even more that you can take together, there are chances or risks for drug-drug interactions. Both of them are chemical in nature, and they can react. One of the ways, for example, alcohol affects drugs is to affect the metabolism of these drugs. Most of the time, they will lower they will enhance the metabolism, and which will cause that the drug required in the body will not be optimal in terms of the concentration. Again, caffeine can interact directly with some drugs and enhance stimulation, and even cause more harm when it comes to the same. So what we advocate for, if you are taking any medicines, don't take with alcohol. Actually, in most of the chemists or pharmacies you go into, you'll be advised and told either do not take with alcohol, with milk and all other things, but primarily, especially when it comes to alcohol. And again, further, you can ask questions. If you're a person who consumes these energy drinks, you can ask for that advisory. Is a drug that I'm taking supposed to be taken with this kind of drink and all that, so that you can avoid. The second aspect of it is regulation. For the energy drinks, they're not regulated in Kenya. I think the only thing they do is KEBS analysis of whether what you have put on the label is what is inside there. But I think it should go beyond that. As a public health concern, it should go beyond that. Knowing the effects of caffeine, both in short-term and long-term use. She has mentioned, that is Betty had just mentioned about the regulation they're having around sugar, which has come into place, and it's being implemented. But again, we need to go further so that the energy drinks, we can regulate the constitution or in terms of the concentration and also the mix that is there. Why add guarana to caffeine? You know,
just speak a little bit more on the guarana aspect, because I think when you mention guarana, a lot of people will just go on, you know, the guarana that we know that is being sold out here. You know,
guarana is an extract of a plant that originates from South America, very high, rich in caffeine. It's quite high, rich in caffeine. And what we're saying, sometimes they will just put it in as an addition, as a natural extract or an additive. But no one is looking at the aspect of you're already having 200 mg of caffeine in itself, then you're adding guarana on top of it. And the worst of it, you're not even validating or standardizing the amount of guarana you're adding into it. So you are overloading again the system with too much of this caffeine. And again, that's now where we'll require standardization by the regulators. First of all, it be classified as a commodity of concern in terms of public health. And then now if that happens, the first board or regulatory body that should come in, for example, is the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. So they're saying, okay, this is classified as a drug. Then let's look at the ingredients and the concentration of them. Then we separate. If we don't need so much of this, then we can advise the companies so that they can work around it.
I see that. You know what, when we mentioned and especially from the comments, the people who said every day, I'm just thinking, for someone who takes one energy drink every day, and some who take 5 every other day, is the impact the same or is it different? And like I said, most of the time you'll actually start seeing the effects, you know, long term. You know, somewhere along the line you will see, you know, the impact. So is the effect the same? Is it different? Or the goal is you will be affected, whether it's too much or not?
The one taking one a day is at a lower risk. All of them are at a risk.
All of them are at a
risk. I think the aspect of driving a vehicle downhill at 60 kilometers per hour and another gentleman driving it at 240 kilometers per hour or to a ditch, obviously one will crash and crash very hard. So the one taking 5, obviously you have spiked so much of all these ingredients in your body. But in the long term, you see, if you're doing it every day, it's chronic.
Yes.
So you still have the effect even if it's once a day. You're spiking. Okay, from the caffeine to the excessive of aspects of vitamins, because also they have the average daily dose, to the, what else, the ginkgo biloba in it and all that. All these need regulation. Of how much you're taking. Yeah, because like I said, they were meant to be taken socially. Yeah, socially. Oh, okay, yeah, big questions, but like socially, and then the child like, no. Yeah, it's social. Socially. Yeah. Okay.
In other words, do not prolong your crashing.
Your crashes. Yeah. Okay, I see that.
Additionally, the person who's taking 1 is going to catch up with the one who's taking 5, because they keep taking it all the time, and then they're going to build a tolerance. And soon they're going to need like 5 or even 6 more to just achieve that level of boost that they're after.
Okay. So don't take. Message me don't do it. Also, can we speak on children? And we were discussing this during the break and said, now as tulikuwa tunalilia soda, nata kabla upewe soda unatandikwa kwanza, and then maybe ukilia sana unaweza tupewa ama sweet, right? But now we see kids hawalili soda, wanataka now the energy drink, right? So what is the effect of that long term? Because this child is starting it way earlier. The brain is fully formed at what, 25, you know, about. So this child is starting on an energy drink way earlier, and the chances are they will not just take that one in a day. They would want more. And long term, what is, you know, the impact of the same?
Well, like Dr. said, they're developing. So there are some studies that actually show that energy drinks affect how brain synapses are formed. And in the long run, then it's going to affect their concentration, and it's going to be constantly spiking their stress hormones. And but other than that, you know, children don't grow up in a vacuum. They are asking for all these energy drinks because they're seeing people they emulate. They're emulating adults. So I would ask parents to model healthier habits for their children, because children are like that squashy you use for washing dishes. They just soak in stuff. And once they see you as a parent, as someone they look up to, or a caregiver, you're there chugging energy drinks left, right, and center to just be more productive. They're going to emulate that, and they're going to be buying that energy drink and not soda or even not lollipop.
I see that. And in the immediate, because again, we're looking at an adult taking, I don't know how many cans or cups, say, for example, of coffee in a day, and the impact that it has in terms of irritability, not being able to focus in as much as you want to focus. I'm just thinking for a child.
Yeah, for a child now, it's heightened. It's even worse. They become restless, jittery. They can't stay in one place. Concentration issues. They become worse if they were already there. They forget to like do stuff that they were meant to do. So a lot of mental problems start to creep in, and this now starts to enter the realm of neurodevelopmental disorders. So it's vital, it's even crucial that we keep energy drinks away from children, teenagers, young adults, because their brain is still developing. And in fact, there have been studies that show that depressed mood is more common in teenagers who are taking energy drinks as opposed to teenagers who do not take energy drinks.
Okay.
So we are factoring in mental problems like depressed mood, and even in college students. These are people between 19 to like 22, 23. There have been studies that show that habitual drinking, they end up having higher stress levels than people who don't take, and even as far as suicidal ideation. So it's really important. There have been a ton of studies in Europe, in the Americas, and that's why they've seen it better to put regulations. But Africa, we are yet to catch up on this.
Dr. What will it take? Because now I'm really concerned that if we're not careful, in the near future, instead of saying, oh, people are becoming addicted to alcohol and we're seeing the impact of the same, I think we'll have more people addicted to energy drinks, and the effects are even far worse, than what we're seeing right now. What will it take? And especially when it comes to ile duka inakuanga tu hapo kwa mtami nikitoka TV kwa nyumba naona duka iko pale, and like what will it take? Or even near schools, because we talked about hawkers right now. Kuna wale wanauzaga ice creams hapo nje ya geti ya shule, right? And now we're seeing energy drinks as well being sold. So what will it take for us to get it right when it comes to regulation, when it comes to policies, when it comes to maybe even stricter fines? Because clearly we don't have any at the moment with the energy drinks.
Thank you, Winnie. The first thing I think we may have to do a study in Kenya.
Okay.
At least we have more of our facts. One thing I've learned when we're dealing with policymakers, they'll ask for numbers. They'll always tell you, do you have that in Kenya? Can we see it? We're relating the effects of energy drinks directly to what we are seeing in the populace. So that's the first starting point. And I believe that can be initiated from various quarters, even from the Ministry of Health, and also even our universities. People can pick it up. It can be individual driven. Someone can pick it up as a study. Once we have the facts, we are able to create awareness at the policy level making point, where we give them the low data, as in we tell them these are the facts, these are the numbers, as we push towards the angle of regulation. And that should go hand in hand with public awareness, because we will talk at this point. This needs to be escalated even further in the social media platforms, in various other media engagements that you can have. Let's speak more about it, that it can reach as many, especially the young ones be it in school or universities and all that, so that we can create that awareness.
And especially in campuses. There's a very, very big problem over there. And Betty, so beyond nutrition, beyond say like the daily habits and whatnot, what else can we do to get it right? And especially for those people who are like, Sasa mimi, every day, because kuna mtu amesema pa Arsenal, let me know. They said every weekend while watching Arsenal matches, one energy drink plus 250 ml quarter alcohol. I don't want to read the name that they mentioned. So it's like every weekend, and it's not just the energy drink, it's the energy drink plus the alcohol.
Which is a sad state of affair. And really, again, I'll just emphasize the fact that we need to find out where the rain started beating us, what is broken in the system. Because once we know what is broken in the system, then we are able to solve it. And as Dr. Wahome says, we already know what the effects are. There are a few benefits, I think 2, 3, but the effects are more outweighing than the benefits. And this is well documented. The problem that excessive intake causes is well documented. So now we need our own data. And that doesn't need, because the other thing is people will fight and say, but if we need to do research, then we will need a lot of money. Yes and no. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and start where you are. Even if you're only going to take that data from the campuses only, where maybe the consumption is higher before you get outside. Maybe from the campuses, then people will see there's a problem, and then they can fund it to take now from the people outside. In terms of regulation, I think we also look at education in a way that it looks very formalized, and we are advocating for this, so it's big posters and all that. It could be as good as just telling them mama mboga, because as they are selling to my child, their child is also consuming. Just trying to have a candid conversation with them and telling them, okay, fine, you're giving my child and they'll have a problem, but yours is equally going to have a problem. So whereas, and I know young people don't advocate for this, you know what, if you do this, then your children will be so sick to not take care of you when you're sick. Gen Zs will kill me with that.
They'll be like,
we are not insurance for anybody. But just, we do not want to lose a part of society. For these people to grow into adults that can be able to have their own families and continue with this population, then they need to be aware of what is happening right now. So awareness does not necessarily mean creating it on billboards and all that, just the one person that we are talking to.
Yeah.
As a dietitian myself, I will not stop teaching. And I do it everywhere and anywhere. And I'm very stern about it. I do not sugarcoat it. It doesn't matter how many times or in how many ways you ask it. So as healthcare professionals, if we keep drumming this, that healthy eating is not something that will be postponed to a later age. If up until the age of 25 you're not eating healthy, even your cognitive development will not have been achieved. You will not have reached your maximum potential. So what will you be able to do after 25? What you would, and then we'll sit there and imagine that geniuses do exist. Maybe not. They're just people who have planned well in terms of food, the social, the environmental, and then now the practice to be able to do things at a genius level.
I see.
So that education has to be emphasized every now and then. Every little opportunity that you get, whether it is in church, it is with your friends, it is in the chamas, and while watching Arsenal games. I know it is boring. I'm an Arsenal fan, by the way, no offense. So while watching that, you can just take your 2-3 minutes and say, by the way, this energy drink, however much our team is, we've not been beaten for a while. But however much we're being beaten, the drinking of this will only cause me more problems that the manager of Arsenal will not pay for. Yes. So we have to speak truth into power.
I see that. And yeah, that's really good advice. So someone here says, this is Saima Kips on Facebook, who says, energy drink is for those guys who lack vitamins in their bodies. I eat sweet potatoes every morning. Why would I need an energy drink? Betty is happy about it. Listen, we have to literally go right now, but I'll give each one of us like maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds marks in terms of what is that one thing then? Because we've talked about a lot in terms of understanding the effects, understanding where we are at and where we need to go in terms of our attitudes and our behaviors. So what is it that you'd want someone, how everything else, to just walk away with one thing from this conversation in like 10 seconds? Philip is in my ear, Anna Tukuza. Okay, what would you say?
Well, I would say just do the better thing. You're good for it. Stay away from energy drinks. You'll thank yourself later.
You'll thank yourself later. Thank you so much, Stella. Doc, 10 seconds.
Thank you. As also a toxicology and also chair of this Toxicology Society of Kenya, just to highlight the toxicity aspect of this, and also good to note, you don't need to have a turbo engine to survive. As a normal human being, you're designed to exist as you are, as you take good care of yourself and feed well and rest.
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you.
Betu alisema ulishapeana parting shot, so watch out.
Not to worry.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all of you really for coming by today, and thank you for staying with us as well until the end of the show. A lot of feedback, but let's keep the conversation going online. But for now, allow us to say goodbye. My name is Winnie Lubembe. Stay safe and see you tomorrow right here.